Drew Byers, owner of Byers Insurance Group here in Bowling Green.
And are you from Bowling Green?
Not originally. I grew up in Elizabethtown. Then I came to WKU in the fall of '98 and pretty much have been here since.
Okay, so were you born in Elizabethtown?
I was born in Huntington, West Virginia.
So you're a mountaineer by birth.
For 3 days.
For 3 days. So why 3 days? Were your parents on the run from the law and had to get to...
Basically, yes, they were. No, my parents lived in Ashland.
Okay.
And for some reason, Dad couldn't be in the delivery room or something in Ashland, so they went across the river to Huntington.
So the law was he could be in the delivery room in West Virginia.
But not in Kentucky.
That's a strange law.
It is. I guess it's a law. I don't know. That's just
Okay.
what I know from what I understand, and that's why they went across to Cable County Hospital in Huntington.
So then you guys lived in Ashland for how long?
A couple years.
Okay.
And then my parents are originally from Grayson County.
Oh, okay.
And then, so Dad was a teacher, and when he graduated from WKU, he was in the Air Force.
Okay.
The funny thing is me and my sisters all grew up in Kentucky, but none of us were born in Kentucky.
Okay.
My sisters were born in Spokane, Washington when Dad was in the Air Force. Then moved back after he got out of the Air Force, and he was a teacher by trade out of college, so he was an industrial arts teacher in Ashland. Then he went back to school, got his master's. I don't even know if it was what is it?
Probably a teaching certificate.
Whatever. Well, he had the teaching certificate from his undergrad, but whatever the certificates they're supposed to get now, I cannot think of it off the top of my head.
I can't.
But then he switched roles into being administration and was assistant principal at Brett County High School, and that brought them back to Grayson County. And then after a year or two, Dad became the assistant principal at Hardin Central in Elizabethtown, which is now Central Hardin High School. At the time, it was Hardin Central Middle.
And that's when you moved there.
That's when we moved to East.
So you never were a military kid?
No,
Okay.
By the time I was born, my dad was already out of the Air Force.
Are you the youngest?
I am.
And it's only sisters?
Yep, 2 sisters. So they're 6 and 8 years older than me.
And isn't that kind of similar to your family?
Very similar to my family, because Luke's 3 and Maggie's 7, Joy is 9.
Okay. And did Mom do anything, or was she stay at home?
No, Mom was a nurse.
Okay.
And for several years, growing up, she was the nurse at Glendale Children's Home.
So you came from kind of a public service family.
Mm-hmm.
And, so you went, did you have any jobs when you were in junior high, high school, anything like that got you kind of in the career path already thinking? Or?
No, not really. I mean, when I graduated high school, I thought I was going to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
That's what I came to WKU for.
Why that?
I think growing up we're taught, at least when you and I were growing up, you can be a doctor, you can be a teacher.
Okay.
And you didn't really know anything else per se. So, I mean, I liked animals. Veterinarian just kind of seemed like a good path. And I had a buddy in high school who he was going to do the same thing, which he did do.
Okay.
He has a veterinarian practice in North Carolina.
Okay.
But after a year at WKU, was not my cup of tea.
So you didn't work on like farms or
No,
that kind of made you want to go towards that. Did you have any jobs in high school, or did you just have fun and
I mean, during the summer, Mom and Dad didn't want me working during school. They wanted me to focus on school. And then in the summers, I would help Dad out at his elementary school where he was the principal at.
Okay.
And because he was an elementary school principal for, I think, 25, 26 years.
Okay.
And during the summer, I'd go out there and just do stuff around the school, in between soccer practice. So.
Okay. So what did you do? Okay, so you came to Western. You were going to be a vet, but then what did you change your major to?
Public relations with a minor in marketing.
So you didn't have a college counselor, obviously, to tell you which way to go, right?
I did or didn't?
Didn't.
No, I mean, there was a college, not in high school. I mean,
no, I'm saying, because
the guidance counselors in high school, I felt like
didn't
really do much to tell you what career. I don't remember ever taking one of those tests that said, hey, this is what you should do with your life. But when I got to school, I was working in the alumni office at WKU, and that's what I worked all 4 years in the WKU alumni office.
Okay.
First year I was in phone-a-thon, did not like Phonathon, and so my sophomore year I switched actual to the alumni office. And
What'd you do for them?
just as an office associate.
Okay.
I mean, I was a student worker, various things. My senior year, I worked on the website.
Okay. What year was this?
That would have been 2002.
So kind of early internet.
Yeah, early internet. I was basically teaching myself how to do some of it.
I think everyone was then.
Yeah. So, but talking with when I was after my freshman year is when I switched. I basically had to take chemistry twice just to get a C. I was like, maybe a doctor's not the calling.
Yeah, you maybe shouldn't have been a vet.
No, and I'm glad that I didn't choose that route. I mean, I don't know where I would have ended up or what I would have done, but that kind of led me to the career I'm in. And sales is what I started in when I graduated college, and
well,
been in insurance now for 8 years. So
you failed chemistry twice, so there was.
I didn't fail it. Don't throw that.
Well, you had to take it twice, so.
Well, I got a D the first time and a C the second time. The funny thing is I could tutor other people how to do it. I just couldn't do it on the tests.
Why do you think?
I don't know.
Sometimes
Like I just never. I could, and I don't know if it was just the class or what. But I remember my freshman year, I was helping a fraternity brother study. He got
What
better.
fraternity?
Phi Delta Theta.
Okay.
He was he got a better score on the test than I did, and I helped him study.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it just kind of said, that's not the path, and
Maybe you should have been a teacher like your dad.
well, I've always said that would have been the easy way out. Teaching was in my blood. I mean,
Okay.
and Dad and I talked about it. He goes, if you had gone to teaching, you would have had to go into upper administration. He goes, and he and I both knew that, as I probably would have wanted to be a superintendent somewhere
Okay.
instead of just a teacher. So I love teaching. I love, showing people things. And that's why I think I love what I do now is I'm teaching people about their insurance and what's coverage and everything like that.
And it's still helping.
And it's still helping people.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, I probably should have been a teacher. But, I figured why not go the hard route.
So, right out of college was the first gig you get.
Well, I was in investments in Nashville when I first graduated I got the job before I graduated. And I did that for a few months, and then I was tired of driving to Nashville. They wanted me to focus on Nashville. I didn't know anybody. I wasn't living there.
And that's a horrible drive.
It is.
I did that myself.
The day that I said I'm done is it took me an hour and a half to get from Harding Place, which is by the zoo, to Goodlettsville. It took me an hour and a half. I said, I'm done.
That's why when I worked down there, I always had Hendersonville appointments at the end of the day.
So I would go to an office and I'd sit on the phone all day and just calling, at the time, teachers to talk about 403Bs. And it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so I left that position and then I actually moved to Lexington for a year.
Okay.
And I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car at that point. And I worked for Enterprise for almost 2 years. And then moved back to Bowling Green in 2003. So I graduated from WKU in 2002, moved back in August of 2003.
Okay.
Which at the time I moved back, my friends wanted me to come back, and my now wife, we were dating at the time, she wanted me to move back to Bowling Green too. And of course when I moved back, all my buddies left.
Okay.
But my wife was born and raised here, so this is home.
Where'd she go to?
Greenwood High School.
Okay.
She's a Greenwood girl. Which the funny thing was, growing up, I played soccer 1 year. We got put on probation against playing Greenwood in high school soccer anymore because there was 5 red cards handed out in the game.
That's nice.
So, and then my senior year, Greenwood knocked us out of the state tournament. In the region finals, they beat us, so we didn't go to the state tournament. And so I never really liked Greenwood. But, so coming to college, I was like, if I meet somebody from Bowling Green, I don't want to date somebody from Greenwood, blah, blah, blah. Well, I married a Greenwood girl, and that's where I want my kids to go to school, is Greenwood.
Nice.
So, Bowling Green is home.
Okay, so what did you start doing when you came back to Bowling Green?
I was still with Enterprise.
Okay.
And then after Enterprise, I worked for Synergy Communications, doing telecommunication sales, bringing voice over IP for the first time into Bowling Green. And then After that, I took a job with the medical center, a contracted job with the medical center, helping develop wellness programming with local employers. Then after that is when I went back into investments for a little bit, thinking, hey, that's really what I want to do. It was local here in Bowling Green, but that was also during the 2008 market crash. Very depressing time to be in the investments. Yeah. And after about 2 years, I got to the point where I wasn't happy. It just wasn't it. And that's when I got insurance. And I started with Progressive Insurance. I was the sales manager for Western Kentucky. So I basically worked with independent agents, helping them grow their agency.
Teaching them.
Teach them about Progressive, helping them grow the product, but then also how else could they attract customers to their agency? Not just for Progressive, but just overall. And that's where, I worked for Progressive for 6 years and really enjoyed my job, but I got tired. It was kind of I drove 40,000 miles a year.
Sure.
I never felt like I lived in Bowling Green. I slept here, but I'd leave by 7:30 every morning. I was home by 4:30 or 5. Usually I worked through lunch kind of thing. Just never felt like I was here, even though I was here almost every single night. And so then after 6 years, I just kind of felt I got Erie Insurance reached out to me saying, hey, would you ever think about opening an office, an independent agency? And I said, I'd had, but I thought I was going to buy one, not versus start one from the ground up. But, after looking into Erie, talking with them, I realized that would be a great start, and my wife and I, we go to Living Hope, very involved there. We start praying about it, asking, God, is this what you're calling us to? And he never shut the door. And so that's what led it to us, and it kind of is a good fit. Is I'm sitting there going, if I've helped other agencies do this, why couldn't I do it for myself?
Okay, so you've helped other agencies start, and now you start.
Not necessarily start, just continue to grow.
Yeah, and you've helped them grow.
Yes.
And you started your own.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one thing that surprised you starting your own that you did not expect to be difficult?
Where do I start?
If there's more than one, just because
I think a lot of it is just managing all aspects of it.
Okay.
If you ask my accountant, he'd probably say I complain about taxes.
Sure.
But
we all do.
But honestly, it's just kind of managing the day-to-day aspects, because I'm not only an insurance agent helping work with clients, but I'm also the janitor. I'm the office manager. I'm the IT guy. I'm the whatever you name it. I just wear every single hat. And at the end of the day, there's most days I'm going, I did not get all that done. I've still got plenty more I could do. Which
your to-do list is still long.
Oh, my to-do list never shrinks, really. There's always stuff on it. And the surprising things, I've kind of joked, I should start a consulting business of helping people, hey, here's what you haven't thought about when you start a business. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of it, is just trying to manage every aspect of it. That's probably been the most challenging.
You're not going to get more time opening a business.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of small business owners on their insurance. What do a lot of them who are opening businesses, because sometimes we'll have people who watch this that are thinking about opening a business, what do they not think about on their insurance?
Well, a lot of people don't realize, what's going to be required by the state.
Mm-hmm.
Most people think, general liability, I need liability just in case someone comes in and trips and falls. That's the normal people think about. But depending on the business, if it's a sole proprietor, they don't have to worry about workers' compensation insurance. But if there is an employee, workers' comp is the one thing most don't realize when they have to have it. Technically, for example, if my wife came and worked here for me, because she's not technically an owner on the Articles of Incorporation, I'm required to have workers' comp, even though she's family. Most people think family you don't have to have workers' comp, but that's not the case. So that's one thing people don't think about. They just think, I don't have to have it. I only have one employee, or, they're 1099 kind of thing. But the state, a lot of times what they're going to look at is, if it looks like, smells like an employee, guess what? It's an employee, no matter if it's 1099 or W-2. So a lot of people don't think about that. But then there's little things. General liability covers if someone comes in and gets hurt or slips and falls, or if you have a product that causes damage. That's general liability. But most people don't really start thinking about, well, what about my stuff? It's kind of like homeowners insurance. What about my stuff in my business? My desk, my stuff on the wall around me that you can see. Computers, what's that covered under? Well, that's when you have to have business contents coverage to make sure that, hey, if something happens, if there's a fire, if there's water damage, is my stuff covered? So not very many people think about all aspects of it. A contractor, just because you have general liability and maybe commercial auto insurance doesn't mean you have coverage for your tools. You need a separate policy, or we offer business owner policies that are a package of several different policies into one, to where we can provide building coverage, business property coverage, general liability, all into one package.
Are you seeing, because you deal with insurance a lot, I'm kind of interested in this, are you seeing a lot of people buying their own buildings for their new business, or a lot of them leasing? A
lot will lease, and I'd say probably the biggest thing with that right now is Bowling Green. The real estate market is so hot right now.
Sure.
That there's not a lot of business property for small businesses available to purchase.
For small, you're right.
I mean, like for me, when I opened the agency, there was probably 2 or 3 facilities that were big enough yet small enough.
Yeah.
A small business that's got 1 or 2 employees, depending on the type of business it is,
sure,
doesn't really need 3,000 to 4,000 square feet.
No.
1,000 to 1,500 will fit most. Now, retail, sure, restaurants are different. You need bigger spaces for those usually. But an insurance agent, video production, sure, website design, that small stuff doesn't need
a lot of service industry.
Yeah. Contractors, they don't necessarily have an office usually. A plumber, his office is his vehicle.
Sure.
So, a lot of times that you don't see a lot of people buying it right off the top, though. They're going to go, hey, I want to make sure this is going to work first.
Sure.
I'm not even sure what the percentage is, but it used to be, 50% of new businesses failed within the first year. Restaurants typically are higher.